hello. Hey, welcome to a special edition of Let's Talk Nation tonight. And this special edition is I don't know, I want to say it's different. It's incredible because it marks something that we all are familiar with, but nobody actually saw or gauged that we were already there 30 years later. But hey, I'm your man, Rod Love, and you're tuned in to Let's Talk Nation. And I want to give a special acknowledgement and recognition to a very good friend, an individual who does a great deal in the community, and want to also recognize Bernard Hart. We call you B12, so I'm going to stick with the B12. But Bernard, I want to thank you, and I also want to thank your social civic organization, the Wolfpack, for being a sponsor tonight of this show. And I know everybody's wondering, well, what is he talking about 30 years? And Bernard, do you realize it has been 30 years since the Million Man March?
It's the Million Man March. We all walked together.
Hey, so Bernard, do you remember what you were doing or where you were at during the Million Man March?
Yes, I know exactly where I was.
Where were you?
I was in Atlanta.
And
I was actually working,
you were working?
Yeah, I was actually working.
Bernard, let me ask you this. And this show is going to be moving fast.
Sure.
But when you heard that the Million Man March was being assembled, what came across your mind? I mean, did you wonder what they're doing, what this is all about, or what?
I kind of knew what it was about. I really wanted to be a part of it because to me it was a big movement. To try to get us to do things for us.
For us. And you know what? I'm glad you said for us, because I don't know why, man, sometimes when we're having these conversations, and I'm going to just say it, man, we speak in a softer tone when we talk about something that, we need to be proud of your heritage, to be Black.
Correct.
And man, I don't take it from anybody, man. I mean, white people, Hispanics, heritage is heritage.
Heritage, yes.
And so I don't take anything away from anybody. But let me go ahead and say this. Tonight marks the 30 years since the Million Man March, not just a historic gathering, but a moral checkpoint, if you would.
Yes.
And the question is not where we were, but what have we done since? What has been impacting with us since that took place? And I mean, Bernard, you're a straight shooter.
Yeah.
We're at 30 years.
And nothing's been done.
And I don't want to, and I'm with you. I don't want to be critical of that, because that was a feat to have a million men in the same place. Do you realize, hey man, a lot of folks say, hey, when them folks get together, something. Well, the thing that happened was that men assembled and they talked about positive things. They assembled to do some things that were right. But man, I guess this is the postmortem, if you would, 30-year postmortem.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I don't want to be critical, but we got to.
You have to, because nothing's been done. You have a little bit here, a little bit there, but nothing has come together to amend all that together. And
I'm
not growing from it.
I'm glad you said that, because I've been familiar with you. I've supported the Wolfpack, and here's what I can say, and I don't know, because if you've measured, or if the Wolfpack has measured your impact on communities, I know y'all do firsthand some great things, because I've been involved with that.
Right.
But you know what? I think our biggest and greatest failure is that we have not measured what we've done or identified. What did we want to do 30 years ago? What did we want to? Public safety's been an issue. Men standing up with a backbone, being the heads of households, has been an issue. But this is a show to be critical, but to learn from it.
I think the biggest part is us as Blacks not understanding the politics side of it.
Oh, and see, you're going into an area that I think is critically important.
It's very important. But
you know something, and I'm glad you brought that up. What we did, and I got to give credit to Miss Shaquita Wynn. I got to give credit to our executive producer, Doc Polite. And Doc. Got to give credit to Armando as well. Is that folk have researched, and we took the substance from all of the speakers. And listen to what I say when I say we took the substance. We took the substance from all of the speakers at the Million Man March, and we reduced it to
Okay.
to 10 items, man. And you know, when our folk were putting this stuff together, at first we were trying to match up who the substance was coming from. But you know what? This ain't about politics. This ain't about who you are and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. So what you see, Bernard, is the substance of what came from those speakers. We ain't gonna call no names because what is important is the substance.
What we getting out of it.
What we getting out of it. And so tonight, man, I mean, the conversation is about what did we learn from that and where do we go from here? And, you know, this is about us standing up, but this is not excluding
Right.
our allies,
Right. Right.
our partners, because we got white folk, we got Hispanics that have been supportive and helped us navigate
Correct.
some of this. But this tonight is about all hands on deck.
Yeah.
You know, and the Wolfpack, man, back to school events. What else have y'all been doing?
Christmas for homeless kids.
See,
Suits, we give suits out for to Bethune-Cookman, to Seminole High School for young men who don't have suits.
see, a lot of people need to know about what the Wolfpack is doing. But here's where I think, Bernard, and this is brotherly love I'm going to shed upon you. How long have y'all been doing it?
It's been 7 years.
7 years, okay. And go with me on this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 7 years. Can you tell me how many kids y'all have provided clothes for? How many kids have y'all provided backpacks for? How many backpacks have y'all provided? And, you know, as we evolve, man, we get a little bit more critical, if you would. But when we're giving out backpacks and things of that nature, how many pledges have the Wolfpack had the parents and those kids sign to say, thank you for this backpack, and I will acknowledge that I will do my best to excel in education. That's measured.
That's measured.
And I, you know, that's a lot of Dr. Nelson. You know our good friend Dr. Nelson, who's a researcher. He's a scientist.
Right.
And hell, it took him 20 years to get me to start speaking in fact versus theory. But just think the work that the Wolfpack has been doing. There's organizations, there's companies that support what's taking place in communities. Just imagine if you can go and say to McDonald's in those neighborhoods and communities, over the 7 years, we've clothed 2,000 kids. We provided backpacks for another 300 kids. Of the kids that we provided backpacks for, here's all the pledges from those parents and those kids.
Right, okay.
And, man,
keep it factual.
But you know what? It's in the best interest of everybody for everybody to do better and be better.
Correct. I agree.
You know, and so that's what the night is all about. We're at 30 years and we're sitting here having a conversation and we don't have something that we can put our hands on.
No.
And I will say, I take my hats off to that, but at the same time, hey man, we have a caller calling in. Let me see. Caller, are you there?
Yes. How you doing, Mr. Love?
Hey, is this my good friend from Charlotte, North Carolina, Mr. Kenny Smith?
Man, you know it is.
Hey man, hey, thank you for calling in this evening. And as you know, Ken, we're having a conversation, man, about the Million Man March and the fact that, you know, we're talking about here we are 30 years later, and we're trying to wrap our heads around what can we put our hands on. So give me some of your thoughts, man. Where were you? Did you attend the Million Man March?
Man, yeah, I was fortunate enough to attend the Million Man March. It was my first time being on an airplane. It was a lot of firsts.
Hang on. Did you hear what he just said? But was his first time being on an airplane?
Yeah, that was my first flight, man. So it was, you know, it was an experience that, you know, I've never had an opportunity to relive. And the 30th anniversary just kind of crept up on me. But man, if I could share just, you know, some of the stories that came out of it, man, you know, I just remember being in that city, you know, young guy, 27 years old. And, you know, it was probably the first time, and I'm probably going to say the only time, that I could walk down the street and just see other black men that naturally and genuinely wanted to get to know me. They didn't look me up and down. I didn't look them up and down. And like everybody you passed, it was like, hey, brother, man, what's up? Where you from? You know, I mean, so many good things happened. I remember walking to the mall and in the street. I don't know if it was Pennsylvania Avenue or not. The street was lined with young ladies. They were giving us drinks. They were giving us sandwiches. They were giving like, strong black men, we behind you. I mean, it was a phenomenal event, man. And I think that if we could take anything from that, is that, you know, I don't know who it was that was speaking, but he had us go into our pockets and take out a dollar. And I don't know if there was a million guys there or not. Let's just say it was. And we waved those dollars around, and then we dropped them in a box. And I said to myself now, I didn't say that back then, but I say to myself now, what if we had taken that $1 million and sold it right back into DC, bought a community center or something like that? And then the next year, we did another Million Man March, and we did it in another city. And we came together, we had fun, and we kicked it, and then we all pulled a dollar out of our pocket and sold it into that city. Think about how many community centers or places of refuge we could have 30 years later.
That's what that is. I mean, but now, what you think of that, man?
I love it. I don't think it's too late.
And it's not. It's not. But you know what? And let me say this. Let me give it the respect that it's due. We have Mr. Kenny Smith, the president of Grace Mars Services out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and Kenny has been doing things all around the country for a long time. But the point that he makes about 1 million men being in the same place, same space, pulling out a dollar. Think about the economic value and impact.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And Kenny, let me say this to you because, and I'll let everybody know, Kenny has been instrumental and part of the development of what we're talking about tonight, this show. One of the things or the ground rules that we want to get a pledge from everybody to institute is that, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you're doing or what your organization is doing. But if you use the word I, then we ask you to pledge $100 to the to a not-for-profit in a community of your choosing in your community, because this is not about I. No, this is about us.
Yes.
And so Kenny, man, I tell you, what else can you tell? What Grace Mar? Can you let people know? Give us a tad bit of what Grace Mar does.
Yeah, we're out here fighting the fight like you guys down there in Florida, man. We're trying to build stronger, more resilient communities of color. We're just, we're into fatherhood, we're into youth, we're into building Black business. Those are kind of the cornerstones of our programs. We're looking to collaborate and work with people like you guys because this work has to go across the country. We have a lot of communities that just really need men to stand up, and that's what that Million Man March is all about. We just need men to kind of take their rightful place back in our communities. And that's what we're all about. How do we make that happen? How do we stand these men up, these businesses up, these youth up? How do we build our community? So that's what we're all about. We're open to work with any and everyone who has that same mindset.
And I want to acknowledge Mr. Smith because he also, his company participated in a project here in Florida when FEC was facilitating responsible fatherhood in Orange and Seminole County. And I mean, just did an incredible job.
Right, okay.
Hey, Mr. Smith, this is always fast moving, but one of the things he's not telling everybody is that Grace Mar is I say we take the I out of it and put the team in it. Kenny is very blessed because his wife is a key instrumental in their company, their operations. And then Kenny, you have is one of your sons or both of your sons involved in your business?
Both of them are involved. They are marketing department. So we've been fortunate to be able to hire both of our kids in our business. My wife left the school system and joined me in 2014, and man, we haven't looked back. Thanks to you guys, I think you had an event down there in Florida, Orlando or Miami, and our sheriff was there. And I guess you spoke some very kind words about the work we did together. And so now we have my wife and I in the jail teaching artificial intelligence in the jail.
Wow. Wow.
So man, shout out to you. That's how it works, man.
Hey, Ken, go ahead and get a shout out to Sheriff McFadden, man. Come on, you gotta say it. You gotta say his name.
Okay, Sheriff McFadden. Okay, Sheriff McFadden. He was like, he heard the good words about us from you guys, and he was like, man, who are these guys that I think he met us before the first time in Florida through you guys. He was in Charlotte here with me, and we never met. I had to come all the way to Florida to be there with you and Dr. Nelson at a dinner table to meet my own sheriff. And, so yeah, man, that's all working out. And that's how it is, man. We're connected. We just got to keep connected with each other.
You're absolutely correct. Hey, Kenny, before I let you go, man, so that because I'm curious now, you're in the jail in Mecklenburg teaching AI.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. That's you and I are big into that. That's the future. Everyone needs to start getting on that $15 trillion train that's coming down the track.
Did you hear the numbers?
We got to get in.
Oh yeah.
What was that number you said? 15 trillion.
15 trillion by 2030. That's what this AI industry is supposed to generate in our economy. So we need to jump on that train and not get run over or left on this one. Because real quick, I will say that every economic transition in our country's history, we've always needed something.
Yes.
When we were farmers, you needed land. When it was an industrial revolution, you needed machines. When it was the information and finance industry, you needed some money, or you needed some computers, or know how to code. AI is the first thing that you don't need anything.
Wow.
But your willingness to be curious.
Man, you're absolutely correct. Hey, Kenny Smith from Charlotte, North Carolina, president of Gracemar. Hey, man, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. But I want to thank you, man, for, just seeing it not be robbery, man, to call in and give us some wisdom tonight. So thank you once again, man, and keep up the great work.
Hey, you guys do the same. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Take care, kid.
All right.
Hey, let me just go ahead and say once again to everybody who's viewing this, this is a special edition of Let's Talk Nation. I'm here with my good friend Bernard Harden. We call him B12, and this is about 30 years since the Million Man March, and we got to be critical of ourselves, and at the same time, we got to figure out how do we get it right.
Main thing. How
do we get it right? And so let me give the phone number because we want participation from folk that are dialing in. We got some other special guests that's going to come in virtually, but that phone number, and I know our executive producer will get it up on the screen, is area code 407-921-6195. And once again, 407-921-6195. Hey, Bernard, as we're talking about the Million Man March, and we're doing this autopsy, if you would, I hear people, we talk about human services, doing some great things in communities, but doing that is great. But also, there's another big arm to this, and that big arm is economic development.
Yes.
I don't know if one of my good friends that I've known for 25, 30 years, Miss Bernice Akin Bradley is here, but this sister she owns her construction company. Yeah. And she's been in this community, man, and I've known her for about 25 years, maybe more. But this sister is participating in contracting at the airport. She's involved in contracting, I believe, at the Orange County Convention Center, one of the largest convention centers in the country. Yes. And I hope that she joins us in the studio this evening. But it's about economic development too. We often hear this stuff about minority business engagement. With that being the case, man, we're at a point that I want everybody to be at the table. As my father-in-law often says, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And so we got to have more discussions about the economic development aspect of it as well. But Bernard, I know, and let me thank you, man. Bernard prepared some food for us this evening too. So I hear the audience out in the lobby area, and I know you're gonna go out there and say, "Hey, one plate." But Bernard, I want to thank you and Wolfpack, and I know you have some members of the Wolfpack that are here. Send them on in here, man, because we want to get their perspective. And also, I'm sure Miss Wynn will let me know if Miss Atkins is in the building. But man, thank you once again. And if you would, just look at that red light and let folk give them your perspective of this is 30 years. Where do we need to go from here?
I think the main thing that we really need to do is just my opinion. We definitely got to move forward with things that we talk about, not just use it as a voice. Excuse me. We can't just talk about it. We got to build on it. We got to focus on it. We got to progress from it. Our things right now, we're just doing a lot of talking. The way that things are going now, everybody knows it's not great. So therefore, let's push forward. It's a hard thing to do, but I guarantee we get great results out of it.
Been doing it for a long time too.
Yes, indeed.
Hey man, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Hey, appreciate the Wolfpack too, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
Let the guys know. Appreciate it, man. Hey, I don't know if Doc got us queued. Hey, boy, I tell you, they applaud you and everything. I don't know if Doc has us queued up for a quick commercial. If he does, we'll run with that. But Bernard, I know you're gonna go out there and check on the food, man.
Yes,
so
indeed.
we appreciate you, man. And send one of the Wolfpack in here when you get a chance.
Right, that we'll do so.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna move along. You can go ahead because this thing gonna keep rolling tonight. Hey, what I do want to say, this conversation tonight is it's not about politics or it's not about protests. It's about purpose and progress, and it's about people. I mean, white, black, brown, blue. It's about people. And so, join the conversation, man, and let's talk about this. Let's not skate over this, because if we do, we'll find ourselves here having the same conversation again 30 years later. I don't know if y'all can hear, but they must be having a good time out in the lobby area. But you know, we have to continue to do better. This is about progress, and it's about our children. Oh, I see in the lobby, I see Miss Atkins that y'all see. She know where the food is at, so y'all save me a plate out there too. But we got to continue to have these conversations. I don't know, Doc, do we have Dr. Nelson in the green room? If we don't have Dr. Nelson in the green room, because that's who we have coming up next. But you know what? Our goal tonight is to reconnect with the original principles of faith, family, finance, and just looking toward our future. And so, hey, Dr. Nelson, right on cue. Dr. Nelson, president of 21st Century Research and Evaluations. For those of you who may be not familiar with Dr. Nelson, he is one of the leading experts around the country as it relates to community engagement, law enforcement engagement, and training, bringing stakeholders and law enforcement together. Dr. Nelson, how are you doing this evening?
Man, bring you greetings from Wakulla County. Blessings.
You know, they set the intro up for me, Tallahassee, but the Wakulla is what, 30 minutes from Tallahassee, right?
Suburbs.
So Dr. Nelson, we're having this conversation about 30 years later, as of today, of the Million Man March. Do you remember where you were at when the Million Man March took place?
I was in Tallahassee on the campus of Florida State University, finishing up my doctoral program and wishing I had enough coins to get to DC.
Man. And so, Doc, what did it mean to you not being there, but what did you think of this? What went through your head about what are they going there to do? What is this all about?
Well, it was powerful. Even though I wasn't there, I felt the spirit. I think every black man in America felt not only the calling to stand up and say, we're here and we're counted. I think the fact that they had a full day of nothing but love and loving on brothers. You know, it was a time where it was a pride thing. It was prideful, intentional. I think that time was right. That time was right for that calling. And the unfortunate thing is that it was a moment. As you said, it was a moment. It wasn't a movement. It was a moment. But that moment meant something. It meant something to a lot of people. And I think that taking that spirit, the spirit from 30 years ago, and looking at ourselves, being introspective, looking at ourselves in the mirror and say, where are we now, 30 years later, and what must we continue to do?
So Doc, let me ask you this, man, because I got to tell you, and I'm going to go ahead as a matter of disclosure. I've known you 25 years. It took you 20 years for you to get me to get out of speaking theory and start to speaking facts. But what is the biggest thing that we dropped the ball on after the Million Man March took place?
I think the pride was there, but the intention and purpose of what do you do in terms of action wasn't. So we still left our young boys behind. I mean, if we look at every single measure, whether it's education, whether it's employment, whether it's earnings, we've still left our young boys behind. And I have two that I love more than life itself, a 17-year-old and a 23-year-old. And they're doing fine. But if you look at the mass, we're not. And I think that's part of it, that some people have, they've been educated. They've left the communities and they've gone elsewhere. But the community is hurting. Our communities are hurting, and we have to go back and save it. I think this is about self-reliance on us. Although we don't live there, we still have an obligation and a responsibility to uplift those that are still there, particularly our young men. Not that our young women couldn't use some support, but our young men are way behind.
Hey, Doc, let me ask you this question. How does data drive rightness, if you would, in community development?
Well, I think data gives you a roadmap. If you look in Florida, the graduation rate for young black males is less than 50%. So you're talking about 1 out of 2. And then you go look at our prison and our juvenile justice system, they're the largest single population there. That's data. Now, what the data doesn't show is who's there supporting and guiding those young men before they get there. So we go from data to looking at what do we need to do and where do we need to go, as opposed to just conjecture. You know what I used to tell you? You had anecdotes out of the world, but at the end of the day, I look at 3 things with a program: how much did we do, how well did we do it, and at the end of the day, is anybody better off? That's what I measure. Whatever the program is, education, reentry, justice, whatever. How much did we do? How well did we do it? And is anyone better off?
And you know what, Doc? Let me say this, and I don't know if you saw Bernard Harton in the studio with me. He has an organization, man, a civic organization, and it's a great group of guys. They do backpack giveaways. They help young men dress for success, job interviews, you name it. They're out there in the community doing it. But you should have saw Bernard's face when I asked him how long have they been doing it. They've been doing it 7 years. And I asked them, do you know how many young people that y'all impact over those years? If you have those numbers, and you go to your local businesses and communities and say, hey, we're trying to help these young people, and you have that data, it helps that movement a lot more easier, if you would, to get the kind of support when you're going with data versus, again, like you say, different anecdotes.
Right, and have those young students bring their report card next year. I mean, we do the giveaways every year, but somehow, some way, we're gonna have to be able to look at our young men and support them, and support them. We have to do that. Find ways to go and mentor and go to schools and all. But looking at their report cards, accountability for me goes both ways. We have to keep a system that's not educating our young people accountable, but we also have to be able to support and make sure our young folk are doing well in school, because education is the new. And when King and everybody was fighting for everything, they were fighting for education.
You're absolutely correct. Hey, Dr. Nelson, I appreciate you tuning in. And before I let you go, here's 10 of the areas when we saw the Million Man March. We saw all of the speakers. We actually took the substance from some of those speeches. We didn't put names, so it's all about the substance. Atonement, reconciliation, responsibility was one of the substance. Number 2, family commitment, respect for women and children. Number 3, nonviolence and community peace. 4, health, sobriety, and personal discipline. 5, monthly service and volunteerism. 6, education, knowledge seeking, and self-improvement. Number 7, economic self-help and community commerce. 8, civic principle and collective influence. 9, brotherhood and intergenerational solidarity. And 10, spiritual grounding. But I got to hit you with something that is in your expertise in particular, and that is one of the issues that we can see every day come up, and that is the relationship and engagement between community stakeholders and law enforcement. Can you speak to that real quick?
No, I think, as you know, I've been traveling the country, engaging communities around safe communities. Because for me, whether you're black, white, green, or yellow, Jew or Gentile, rich or poor, Democrat, Republican, Independent, we all deserve a safe place to live and raise our family. And that's free from gang bangers. It's also free from police brutality, whichever. We have to. We have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have to hold folk accountable. And the other part of that is I see a lot of strong young men in communities across the country that could see themselves going into law enforcement, but for whatever reason, the community, the family is like, hey, I'll be frowned upon. For me, I think it takes a strong individual to go into a system and change it, as opposed to stay from on the outside, but go in and change from the inside. And we're seeing that. We're at Bethune-Cookman University. We had more when I was there, and it's still now. We had more young folk, male and female, going into law enforcement at a higher peak than they had before. But it was intentionality. They were going in as changers, not going in as the status quo.
Well, hey, well, Dr. Nelson, man, appreciate your work, man. Appreciate your work here in Central Florida and around the country. And we just got to keep working at it. But once again, hey, y'all, this is Dr. Randy B. Nelson, one of the foremost experts in this country as it relates to, hey, and I say in this country, but you've also, was it Barcelona? Where did you go speaking?
Hey, man, I'm just a blessed boy from Wakulla County.
I hear you. Hey, that's good, humble. But Dr. Nelson, man, thank you once again. We appreciate you and keep up the great work.
Blessings, blessings.
Thank you. Hey, for those of you who are tuned in, this is a conversation about the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March, and that was phenomenal. But we got to figure out, how do we put some meat on the bones? How do we measure and navigate where we want to go and where we want to be? The phone lines are open. If you have a comment, thought about where were you during the Million Man March, and what would you say we need to do to step up our game? That phone number is 407-921-6195. And while we're going through this process, I don't know if we have Mr. Ken Kilpatrick in the green room. If we do, that is our next guest. We can bring him up on screen, but we have to have these uncomfortable conversations, and I'm just glad that we're afforded the opportunity to do it. I don't want to, Lord willing and bless me, be here the next 30 years. I don't want to have this conversation. I want to talk about how we progress. Miss Queenie Wynn, if we have Miss Bernice in the lobby and she's done with all that good food that's out there, I like to have her in the studio as my guest real soon. And I hear y'all in the lobby. So Miss Bernice, if you would come join me, because you're a bad sister and you're doing some great work out there. Doc, let me know when we have Mr. Ken Kilpatrick in the green room too. Hey, as we talked about this, we were framing up the 4 F's, and I've mentioned the 4 F's already: faith, family and friends, finance, and the future. Those are some things that are critical to our success. So, Miss Bernice, you're up at bat. So we're waiting for you, Miss Bernice. So, hey, so tonight, as we talk about leaders from across the country, as we talk with leaders from across the country, we'll explore how each of these pillars still define. No, you over here. Come on in. Come on, bring them on in. I'm gonna slide over a little bit. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Hey, you know what? We get a twofer.
That's right.
We get a twofer.
I can't barely miss.
Hey, and you know what? I'm gonna let my co-host make these introductions. But Ms. Bernice, I've known you for I keep saying 25 years.
At least 30, I think.
Oh, you see how she like to throw me out there? But as I was telling everybody, I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the show, but you're a bad sister, and I'm proud of you. Your construction company and the level of engagement that you've been in this town, engagement at the airport and contracting. I don't know if you've been out at the convention center contracting. More than likely, she has. Not yet. But you've been everywhere. But you know what? You've been actually making a way for some folk. And so what? Well, you know. But before I do that, introduce your guest with me today.
Okay.
Even though I know her, but since
Right.
you're gonna co-host with me, you're gonna do it right.
Exactly. So I'm very pleased to have with me my partner in the construction arena, and that's Jeff Seeley. He is the owner of Seeley Consulting.
Silly consultants. Okay, so tell me a little bit, because people watch this and sometimes I like to apply pressure. What is silly? Oh no, what is silly?
Well, and he can talk now. Trust me, he can talk.
We'll try a little bit. Well, Seeley Consulting, we talked about the Millionaire March, and I was on campus of Indiana University when it was happening, as you were asking earlier. I guess part of the march or any movement, right, in terms of our people, how do we gain power?
Mm-hmm.
How do we focus power? And what is the goal for that power, for that focus? And whether it's on campus of Indiana University or in Washington, D.C., 30 years later, still that question, right? And then as a people, whether in the United States or Africa or the Caribbean, we've been trying to ask our question, that very basic question in terms of Black people. What is our power? What's our goal? How we focus that power? Mm-hmm. And I think today we're recognizing and we're seeing that people with power, how they utilize it. And we got to start asking questions when we have power, why are we so afraid to utilize it?
Boy, you hit, this is incredible. I'm glad the way you structured that. Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't have said it any better than that. And so, I'm privileged and proud to have both of you here. But as I was mentioning to our audience, and we've had Dr. Nelson on screen. We've had Kenny Smith out of North Carolina, but everything is not revolving around human services is important. Mm-hmm. Economic power is too. You got economic power. You can fund those human services.
That's right. That's
even more.
Right.
So Ms. Bernice, tell us about your company and what your company has been doing.
Well, we've been blessed to be in business nearly 16 years. From December, it'll be 16 years. And again, we've been very blessed to be a part of a lot of the major projects here, starting with the Camping World new build, the MLS Stadium, we were a partner on that. As you indicated earlier, we're part of the building out at the airport, both the South Terminal as well as the pedestrian bridge. We also have done a few projects on our own that we're very proud of, that are iconic projects in this community. One of which was the renovation of the New Garden.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so also, if you have gone to festivals over in Winter Park, we built that new stage that they have.
Didn't know that. Y'all got your hands in a little bit of everything.
And so, and also, we built a lot of schools. The New Horizons School, that is the one project that you will see my name on the cornerstone of the building out in Horizon West. And a number of other schools are both renovated projects as well as some new projects.
Okay, here's what I want to do, because I always believe in promoting. We're talking about the Million Man March. We're talking about, we're being critical about where did we miss the boat as well. But I want people to know, and I want developers to know, I want other municipalities to know, while your stronghold has been located here, y'all two believe in have money will travel.
Right. Well, we've done a few things down in South Florida where we partnered with one of our partners down there, T&G Instructor, where we've done some schoolwork for Miami-Dade Public Schools.
Okay. And, but I do believe in self-promotion, and also I do believe, because people did it for me, sometimes people can't say for themselves what they really, but if you're a municipality, you're in government, if we have some incredible development companies in Central Florida. we have two players sitting in the studio right now, and man, I tell you, y'all are more than capable and competent of coming to the table and stuff. So,
Absolutely.
what else did y'all want people to know about?
No, absolutely. I got excited about what you're trying to do. So the I guess the energy, the synergy of power, I got connected to that and started talking about that. But I guess in terms of a consulting firm, what we do is we really got birth out of Hurricane Katrina. Always lived in Florida, but after Hurricane Katrina, something in the neighborhood of $100 billion was being spent in the lower six counties of Mississippi. So if because that's what obviously people know about New Orleans and Lower Ninth, but Mississippi as well was hard hit, and somewhere around $100 billion from federal government was focused. Now, if you think about it, Mississippi is a large state in terms of landmass, but it only has about 4 million people. And if you're talking about just the lower six, you're talking even far less people and $100 billion of investment, right? So, but part of the reason we went down there in the project we're involved, we focus, or we're experts really, on layering fundings, private and public funding. So you had all these fundings coming from federal government and utilizing them as catalysts, as gap funding for larger projects, whether it was infrastructure, whether it was housing, just mass economic redevelopment. So we're involved in that for several years and consulted the city of New Orleans doing the same type of thing, did project in Texas. And Bernice and I have been doing the same type of work here in Orlando with City of Orlando, building housing and trying to do multifamily. And
I'm glad you said that, because you know what? I have been sitting up here being so focused on convention center, but affordable housing and workforce housing is a big issue everywhere in the country.
Exactly.
And you two, you have expertise in that as well.
And that's one of the things that Jeff and I have been talking about. We all know that recent months that the DEI program has been attacked, and some of them have been totally disbanded. And so we said, how do we continue to grow our business and be successful? We have to create our own opportunity and create our own wealth. And so a lot of us have ways to do that. We have property that needs to be developed, but we tend not to come to our people to develop them. And what end up happening is that others see how valuable that property is, get it from them for little or nothing, when they can make that property more valuable and have generational wealth afterwards.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because over the last few years, I've been engaged with just my relations with individuals in faith community that have a great deal of property. But let me do this. I don't know if we have Ken Kilpatrick in the green room. If we do, can we bring him up? Because I want to make some connectivity here. Doc, is Ken Kilpatrick in the green room? I thought I saw something pop up earlier. Oh, Ken, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. Look, I'm in good company. Hey, Ken, we have the executive director of Teen Alternatives Program down in Miami, Florida. Hey, where I grew up. And I'm proud to say, Ken, thank you for being here tonight. You know, we're talking about the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March. And we're trying to just look at how do we measure, how do we gauge, how do we promote what we need to do to move forward. Ken, I'm going to let you take a moment and talk about what your thoughts about the Million Man March. But you down in South Florida, I know you got some hell of a connections, man. Do you see the individual sitting next to me? And I don't know, have you been listening?
Yeah, you got some heavy hitters right there, man. Heavy hitters now.
Hey, and we got a heavy hitter. And I mean, Ken is connected to everybody down in Miami-Dade. But Ken, do you remember where you were during the Million Man March?
Yeah, I was about 3-4 years out of high school, working in a kitchen somewhere, still struggling, still trying to find my way.
Well,
and I
it
remember
looks like
how
you found your
inspired I
way,
was.
brother.
Yeah, you know, but the Million Man March was one of those, pivotal moments where you see so many of our brothers and, being able to come together up there in Washington, D.C. It was a very powerful moment. And Brother Love, I also have with me Representative Bush, who should also be in the room, and I wanted him to come on at some point as well, because he was at the Million Man March on stage.
Okay. Hey, so
Yes,
I
he was
believe
there.
we have him in another green room. We'll bring him on right after we finish with you. And
Yeah.
you with former Representative James Bush out of South Florida.
Yeah, I
The-
do believe so.
The brother was doing some great things when he was in the
They're doing
legislature.
some excellent work. Excellent work. So, but from my perspective, and thank you for the introduction, and I want to talk about my program a little bit, the alternative programs. Since 1982, this program has provided alternatives to incarceration, no cash bail alternatives for nonviolent offenders. Up to 85 to 90% of our clientele now are either homeless or very low income individuals. So to have this no cash bail alternative in place in Dade County has been a blessing to the folks, to the citizens who live here. And I think that what we do, because this agency was actually founded by Georgia Jones Ayers. She was a very powerful civic activist who came up through segregation. She was an activist in the 50s and the 60s when it wasn't safe to be an activist. And by the time we got around to the mid 70s and into the 80s, where you guys may have heard of the McDuffie riots, Arthur McDuffie, a businessman who was murdered by police officers in 1980, and a really big riot erupted. And then there were some agencies that were formed in the aftermath of that riot, of which we have not recovered fully economically yet. It's been 40 years. It's been 45 years now, I believe. And we still have not recovered fully from that riot. But one of the agencies that was put together was this agency that I run now, the alternative programs, which again provides that no cash bail alternative to low-income individuals and families. We also have a juvenile program that serves the youth as well. So I feel that our agency is on the wall, if you will, and have been on the wall since 1982, which is well before Million Man March. But the Million Man March does give us that blueprint of from 82 to 95. What could be done? What could be done in terms of us, dropping the ball, or what we could have done better. I think in some regards, if we look at, and I got to figure out how to say this right. I got to say this the right way. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to look at, you have to not pay so much attention to the messenger, because I think some people may have used the messenger as an excuse not to move forward. And so we've got to look at the message itself. We got to look at what happened, and we have to move forward. No excuses. If we're ever able to do something like that again, doesn't matter, the origins and that kind of stuff. We have to move forward in our faith and do what we have to do to make sure that our people are blessed by coming together of that magnitude. So I just want to put that on the record.
So Ken, man, I want to thank you, man, for tuning in. But I've been familiar with your work. I was an assistant secretary with the State Department, and God bless her soul, when Georgia Ayers was heading that up down in Miami-Dade. And so, man, keep up the great work. You got partners in Central Florida should you need them, but we all have to work together, man.
Blessings. So Brother Rod, I don't know if I had another skinny minute.
Go ahead.
I'm also president of Brownsville Civic Neighborhood Association. That's a low-income community where it's an emerging community here in Miami, the Brownsville community. For folks who are familiar with Miami-Dade County, we are in the fight of our lives right now. We are trying to explore incorporation of our neighborhood along with neighborhoods that are north of us in this really large 5 or 6, 7 mile patch of unincorporated Miami-Dade County. And we are encountering a lot of opposition, a lot of games in government in terms of us being able to move forward. But where we need support the most from around the state and from around the country is to converge on Miami and make sure that we have the opportunity to study our area, to see if it's feasible to incorporate, because we have been threatened by the city of Hialeah. And I don't know if you guys know about, Hialeah and their history. And Hialeah has every right to want to annex our area. They tried to do that 2 years ago. We stood up, we said no. And they said they were coming back in 2 years, and 2 years later, which is now, they are being met with us saying we incorporate. So we want to be able to galvanize and rally the communities, not just here in Miami, but all over the state, all over the country, to say, let's focus on Brownsville. Let's make sure Brownsville gets a fair shot. So I just wanted to put that on the record. That's what we're doing here in Miami. We're trying to step up and stand out.
Hey, Ken, that's what platforms like this is all about. Use your voice. But one thing I will say, I'm familiar with your leadership, and I'm familiar with those folks who support you. I will say this, and this is advice you already know.
Yes, sir.
We're most successful when we get those folk on both sides of the aisle to
That's
come
right.
and understand where we're trying to go. Ken, I know you're working both sides of the aisle. Good luck to you, and you got our support and help down here.
Thank you so much.
Hey, man, appreciate it. We got to get Doctor, and I was saying Rep, but we got to get Doctor, former Representative James Bush. But thanks a lot, Ken. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey, Doc, do we have Dr. Bush with us? And we got a little delay here, so we'll see him popping up here in a second. But boy, I tell you, there's a lot going on all around the state, all around the country. We just have to stay connected with one another. And as he was talking about Brownsville, I didn't want to make this a promotional opportunity, but when you look at these municipalities, when you look at land that's been sitting, particularly in areas of communities that hasn't been developed, and
our churches
and church owned. Yeah. Don't say that with a low voice. and you said it earlier. We sit back and we see developments take place, and people think they're actually getting paid what the value is, but they're not.
They're not.
And so, hey, Rep, how are you doing, man? It's been a while since I've seen you. Hey,
yeah.
Let me make sure everybody understands. This is Dr. Bush. Dr. Bush, former, and I guess you're never, ever not a representative, but this brother was doing his thing in the Florida legislature, and he continues to do his thing. So how are you doing, and welcome to Let's Talk Nation.
Okay, how you doing, man? I was fading out. Now I'm able to connect with you. So I'm delighted to be on your podcast and continue to do what you do and put the information out for our people.
So let me ask you, because I heard a rumor, and I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but where were you doing the Million Man March?
I was in Washington, D.C. I attended the Million Man March. I head up the organization Operation Push. That's the organization that Reverend Jesse Jackson founded. And I was elected in 1986, November of 1986 to be exact, as the Miami-Dade chapter president. And many organizations was invited to the march. And I went up as the president of Operation Push here in Miami, and was able to be a part of that. Not as a speaker, but I was there in attendance.
So the rumor was correct. You were in the place. Hey, so Doctor, let me ask you this question. Now, 30 years later, fast forward, we're all asking the question, what has taken place? What did we miss? Can you kind of fill in the gaps for that for me?
Well, back then we got up with our focus and knowing what we were fighting against, and we was fighting with a purpose and a mission. But today, I think that a lot of the generation of this generation pretty much was not a part of the struggle during the civil rights era, and so this generation doesn't have the kind of commitment, and I'm making a general statement, that we had during that time. And so I think that we have to resurrect the kind of commitment to the civil rights struggle so that we don't lose the gains that we have gained back in the 50s and the 60s. As you see that the Voter Rights Act is on attack right now. I mean, the Supreme Court was debating that this, I think, the last couple of days. And so we got to make sure that we do a better job in educating the younger generation, or this generation, about where we were then and where we are now, and how they play a very pivotal part, because it was the young people who really was more involved in the movement during Dr. King's era.
Well, Dr. Bush, we talk about moments and movements. We talk about, human services, volunteerism. I have two players sitting in the studio with me that are in development. How important is the economics to where we want to go? What's your thoughts about that?
Well, Dr. King was talking about economics, but right before he was assassinated, he was talking about going to Washington to receive a check, and that's where he was headed. Economic, as Jesse used to say, we don't want social generosity, we want economic reciprocity, and that's where we have to move toward with this generation, because politics, when you look at it in the simplest term, when you break it down to the lowest common denominator, it is who gets what and how much, and every year. Yeah. No, that's what this is all about. It's not about Democrats or Republican. When we sit at the table, the state constitution gives us a demand, give us a mandate. The only thing we're supposed to do as lawmakers is to balance the budget. Mm-hmm. And in that budget, you have 100, sometime 115 billion, 112 billion. And as a member of the legislature, be it Senate or House, you go there to do one thing, to extrapolate out of that budget of dollars so that you can bring back to your various districts, so that you can provide economic opportunities for the 501c3s and the state governments and all of the amenities that we provide to the citizenry of our local communities and districts. So it is about economics. The only thing move heaven is faith, and the only thing move earth is money. So, yeah. No, seriously. Go to the bank. Go to the bank tomorrow and tell them that you need to borrow $1 million, and tell them you have $1 million worth of faith, and see just how far you'll move the envelope.
Right.
Hey, Dr. Bush. Hey, let me ask you this. I have two individuals in the studio with me, and this is all about us developing that synergy. South Florida, when you were in the legislature, I was working for the State Department at the time. One thing that we knew about you at the time, and what he's talking about when he's mentioning bringing back funding for your district, from a legislative standpoint in Tallahassee, we call them turkeys. And Representative then Bush, he knew how to work across the aisle, because he was always taking turkeys back home to his district. So now workforce and affordable housing is just incredible across the country. I have two individuals sitting here with me, and you're down in South Florida. What would you say to these two individuals about how to continue to navigate? Because they've done a perfect job thus far, but what would you say to them?
If you're going to be a voice for your people, and I'm quite sure you represent more than just Black people, but predominantly you are representing African Americans. If you're going to benefit from that process, you're going to have to be more diplomatic and able to work on both sides of the aisle. And if you can't do that, if you don't know how to do that, you need to try to find someone who can teach you how to do it, because that's the
only doing that for years. Yeah. Hey, you're right.
Building coalitions. You're gonna have to have a coalition type of attitude and mindset when you're in that process, because whatever party that's in control, they pretty much determines the outcome in terms of how those dollars going to be dispersed. And so if you want to sit at the table as a member and just watch everybody eat while you just sit there and watch them, then you continue to do that. But if you want to go to the table and get your share, should I say, food put on your plate, then you need to know how to be able to negotiate and be able to be diplomatic in that. And I think we lack that. And that's another whole nother training that we have to get this next generation of public servants to learn that it's not about Democrats and Republicans. It's about resources. It's about how you can benefit from that process. I'm a victim because I learned how to do that. I brought back millions of dollars for HBCU schools. We brought back $33 million for Florida Memorial, Edward Waters, and Bethune-Cookman. And not only that, we got $3.5 million recurrent dollars they received without even have to go back and ask for money for like 5 years. We brought back millions of dollars to the 501c3s here in my district. And as a result, the Democratic Party punished me, and they used all kind of dirty tactics to keep me from being reelected because they said I was too close to the Republican Party and the governor was controlling me. Governor never, and while I'm on your podcast, I want to make this very clear. The Governor DeSantis never asked me to do anything. He didn't need my vote. They had the votes. No Republican asked me to vote for anything. They didn't need my vote. I voted on my conviction. I did not sell my soul. I voted on how I was raised and what I felt that was the best for my constituents, and that's a true fact. So, but we got to get to the point where our people can stop being controlled by people who get paid to deliver the votes for a particular party. We need to be about who's going to benefit us, and then we'll give you our vote. We got to be selfish with our vote.
You're absolutely correct, Dr. Bush. Dr. Bush, appreciate you just blessing us, man, with that wisdom and your time tonight. Keep up the great work that you're doing. And look, we just got to continue to look forward and we got to put in the work. But hey, well, go ahead. Speak up. Go ahead.
Dr. Bush, I'm Bernice Atkins Bradley. I'm the owner of a construction company here in Central Florida. And I would like to get your opinion on the challenges that we now face in that industry. As a contractor, we're finding more and more that our people are not remaining in the business. They are losing traction. And also, it's a really hard business to be in. And now with the attack on those programs that kind of help us get entrance into opportunity, they are gone. What advice would you offer in terms of what a company like myself should be doing to try and stay in the game, for one, and two is how do we get others involved, because we are losing a lot of our people, like I said, that were in the business, and construction is a viable business. It's a viable industry to be in. So
one of the things they always, when you talk about procurement, one of the things they always come up with is that y'all can't get bonded. That's one of the, I don't know if that's been an issue with you guys up there in Orlando, not having enough money to be bonded. I think that what we have to do, and you go for local contracts, right?
Yes, we've gone outside of our local area, probably a couple of hours away.
Okay, well, all I'm saying is that those politicians that are in local government, like your commissioners, they have to do a better job in helping to make sure that they force the issue. That when those procurement, when those contracts and bids come up, that we are included. And if they can't do a better job in doing that, then you need to replace them. You need to find somebody who's willing to stand up and fight the local government to make sure that we are not excluded during the bidding time for contracts for our construction, not only for you guys, but for others who are in that industry.
Hey, Dr. Bush, and I'm not in the construction business. I was in the commission seat for a while. One of the things that I continued to hear was the bonding level that was set by municipalities. And
that's right.
As a commissioner at the time, I'm thinking, okay, if we're writing and making the rules from a governmental standpoint, then those levels regarding bonding can go up or down. So just to what you're saying is we need to have those folks that are sitting in elected office, if they're elected to govern then let's do some things so that we can present more opportunity. And yes, I'm being real specific because that bonding issue is pushing a lot of businesses. And when I say a lot of businesses, black, white, blue, what they're pushing them out. And so we got folk that are sitting in these elected seats, staff, and I'm gonna from a bureaucratic standpoint, elected officials are the ones that are telling them how to make the rules. Tell them to make the rules so that it can be a little bit more all-inclusive.
We call them. The last thing I'll say is that I'm old enough to know now, and I've been in this process as I was for a brief period. I was the national president of SCLC in Atlanta, Georgia, with Martin Luther King III and that group. I served a very brief moment as the national president. I'm presently now the second vice president of an organization, civil rights organization called New National Christian Leadership Movement, and Al Sharpton Brothers is our national president, and I've served on many other organizations, civil rights organizations. I've learned at this age in the game, or this stage in the game, that Pharaoh is not going to give you an economic fishing pole to fish yourself out of your economic condition when he used the politics of starvation to keep himself in power.
Hey, we gotta get you back.
I don't know. I don't know if I should be talking. I don't know if I should be talking like this. Do I need to say what I need to say, right, or do I need to tell the truth?
Hey, you're telling the truth. We appreciate you. Hey, any other questions? We're good. Hey, Rep, Doc, we appreciate you, and we got to get you back once again in the future, man. But thank you. When I come to Orlando, I'm gonna look you up, man, and so we can have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Hey, definitely look me up, but also more than that, my two friends here, they need to connect with you because you have a bunch of connections down south, and I think this synergy here can create something. All right. Thank you, man, for allowing me to be on. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, y'all. Okay. I told you, Dr. Bush is something else. It's something else. Hey, Doc, can we take a quick break so we can go ahead and make a transition here? But I want to thank my guests. Y'all brought something else to the table this evening. Hey, y'all put more meat on the bone. All right, man. Hey, Doc, do we have a break in there?
I don't know. Look at her. She's a crackhead. Figured she might have a weapon.
What did she try to steal?
I caught her trying to put this under her coat.
Community Resource Connector by CSG. Social services, community policing, and social justice.
Did you try and steal the bread?
My husband sold our link card and I don't have any money. I'm not a drug addict. I just wanted to make my boy a sandwich.
You gonna arrest her or what?
CRC is a real-time resource tool for human service professionals, law enforcement, juvenile justice, child welfare, education, traditional and non-traditional not-for-profits.
How much is the bread?
$1.50.
Now is the time to build new organizational relationships through wraparound services that produce measurable outcomes.
Community Resource Connector by CSG, the effective way people help people.
They break, I fix. Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Jaguars and Porsche. Joe's Quality Auto Repair. I specialize in European cars. They break, I fix at Joe's European Quality Auto Repair. Located at 1240 State Road 436 in Altamont Springs. They break, I fix. Call me, mention Let's Talk Nation and bring your certified dealership repair quote. And I beat by 30%. Remember, they break, I fix. Call me at Joe's European Quality Auto Repair at 407-409-6040. Again, 407-409-6040. After they break, I fix. Joe's European Quality Auto Repair.
Hey, welcome back to Let's Talk Nation. This is a special edition. What we're conversing about this evening is tonight is the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March. But more so than that, what we're talking about here tonight is how do we measure movement? And I'm not talking about the moment, but how do we measure a movement? And that's what we want to get to tonight. Let me ask, Doc, do we have Pastor Bowie in the green room? If we do, I'd like to bring Pastor Bowie, who's out of Los Angeles, California, to join us this evening. Doc, do we have Pastor Bowie? And if we don't have Pastor Bowie,
no, he's not on yet.
Can't hear you, Doc.
I say he's not on yet.
What about Mr. Lovett?
He was, but
Okay,
he
what about
dropped
Mr.
off.
Lovett?
I'm not sure. If we can get in touch of him and get him back on. So.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see if they drop back in the green room. But, we're having a conversation tonight about the Million Man March, and what we're trying to do is put some meat on the bones. Some of those conversations, some of those speeches that we heard for the Million Man March, we took those speeches and we reduced them down to the substance of those speeches. We didn't put any names with the speeches because the names of who made those speeches aren't important. The substance is important. Where do we go from here is important. And, while we're waiting for some of our other special guests to log in, one of those speeches and the substance of the speech was atonement and reconciliation, responsibility, that moral reset, if you would. And what it was doing, it was calling for personal and communal atonement, settling disputes, reconciling. And Dr. Bush, he hit, boy, I tell you, he hit a number of things on the head. But some of the things that we have to do, and we're looking at moving forward, we got to get to a point that we can sit in the room with people who don't absolutely 100% agree with the direction that we're going. Part of the conversation needs to be, why is it important for us to sit in the room and let's match wits with one another to see who comes out on the other end. If we can find some common ground, because it's not as some people may think that we just got so many things that are different from one another that we can't get along, that we can't agree on anything. We can't get to a point in place where all of our lives, the quality of our lives can improve. It's just not one group or one person who's going to benefit all the time. Those are the kind of conversations that we need to have. One of the other areas that the substance of the speeches that were given on the mall in Washington, D.C. was, it revolved around family commitment and respect for women and children. I think it's a lot of meat on that bone to have a conversation about that. But some of the discussions with that was public commitments to support families. We have all these initiatives that are taking place now. And one that I tell you, I really am impressed with is the Responsible Fatherhood Initiative, to sit with men. And when I say sit with men, this is just not young men. These are older men as well, that we got to get back to our center, if you would, and take care of our families, look out for our communities, and have these difficult conversations about how do we right the ship. When we also have those conversations, we need to look at how do we end verbal and physical abuse and honor women as mothers and partners and pledge to protect and nurture our children. These are the kind of conversations that we know what's right. We know what we need to do. It's that process and that point in case to where we get there. I do know, and I see some folk are asking for the number, the dial-in number. That phone number is area code 407-921-6195. Call in and let us know, where were you during the Million Man March? What did you think about it? And fast forward 30 years. What do you think? What have there been any fruit that have been born from that march? So we like to hear from you. As we continue to have this conversation, and we're talking about some of the substance of the speeches that took place during the Million Man March. One of the other speeches that took place revolved around nonviolence and community peace. It talked about the rejection of certain behaviors that brought harm to communities. We talked about peaceably conducting the measures of having conversations with these young men that are finding themselves growing up in fatherless homes. These are some of the conversations that took place during the Million Man March. And I think not the person or the people who gave these speeches, they're not important as it relates to the substance of what they imparted, and also how do we get our arms around it? Those are the kind of conversations that we need to have. Doc Palat, I know you're back there, but where were you during the Million Man March? What were your thoughts?
Man, I believe I was living in Augusta, Georgia at the time, and I had several of my relatives go. I didn't go, but I had several relatives go, and they came back. They were super excited. They were hyped, and they talked about all of the things that they were going to do going forward as Black men. And unfortunately, it did just like New Year's resolutions. But we can't fault that, because a lot of people think it's intentional, but sometimes we think a moment is a movement, and the moment is really just to wake us up. I think as a result, though, there has been a underlying kind of revival with Black men, in that you see more Black men actually being involved with their children, being intentional about who they have kids with now. I talk to a lot of young men, and that more than anything else is something that they're very aware of. I have 6 nephews, and I can tell you now, my sister I think she has 14 grandkids, and most of them are just one of those boys out of 6.
What?
The rest of them are very intentional, and don't have kids. Well,
Doc, let me say this. And again, let me say this, Doc. And again, we're having a conversation because today is the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March. This conversation is not so much just about this march. This conversation is about the absence of the work that should have gone into after bringing approximately 1 million men to the mall, listening to and applauding some great speeches. I mean, nothing wrong with applauding those speeches. But you know what? After it was over,
I think the key thing, Rod, is we often we look at grand gestures. We look for grand gestures a lot of times, and it's the micro movement where the progress happens.
The micro movement.
Yeah, it's micro. It's the little things, the changing of the attitude, changing of a perspective, and modeling what you see someone else do. Because now it's like it's becoming very important to Black men, I think, to be better fathers.
But you know what? This is a good conversation in a place when we're talking about men being better fathers, taking more responsibilities. I don't want to do this segment without Bernard. Bernard, I know you're out in the lobby area. I want you back in the room for this conversation as we're talking about men being better fathers, being better role models. Bernard, Miss Wynn, I know Bernard is out there in the lobby. Tell him to put down that food and come on in the studio because we're about to have this conversation that I think we can all get our arms around. So Bernard, join me in the studio. But Doc, as we're having this conversation, man, how do you get the attention of those men who can model and mentor that behavior and those men that need it? How do you make that connection?
You model the behavior. Did I ever tell you the Doc got a billion stories. I'm old enough to.
Well, give me one of those stories. Hey, Bernard, I'm waiting on you to come on in here because you ain't bringing me no food.
It's like this, and this is a great analogy. I came to Christ because I saw someone living for Christ, and the lifestyle that they had was so appealing to me that I began to bug them about why they had so much joy, why they had peace, and all of that. And it was a lady I worked with. She was a nurse, and I was unit manager at that time. And I used to ask her, Linda, why are you so happy? She say, because I love the Lord and I found God. And God is the center of my life. And I was like, yeah. You know, I wasn't saved. I had raised in church and all of that, but going to church ain't the same as being committed to Christ. So it's sort of like that. When we have enough black men consistently making our lifestyle a standard for other black men, they will aspire to that.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, and but hey,
everybody wants to be. I don't know anybody that wants to grow up and be a bum. Everybody wants to grow up and be successful.
You're right.
And be able.
We're having a conversation about how do we reach these young men that need that role modeling as it relates to just developing as a man. You know, we always have these conversations, and Doc and I, we get locked in these conversations. And I don't disrespect what anybody thinks about this, but I think it's nothing like a man raising a boy to become a man. There's no substitute for it. You know, and so Doc and I are having this conversation. How do you reach those young men? And sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And a young man may say, "I'm developing just fine," when you see that he's not.
I think now there's more mothers that's raising.
That was the doc. Yeah, okay.
Raising these young men now, and I think we have to reach out to the moms and get permission for the moms, because the moms, they're too protective.
But you know what?
Young boys now that need to be men.
And you're right. I was asking you that question, and you know what popped in my head, and I want you to take the lead on this. Your brother-in-law, Commissioner Wiggins, and Britt. Now, Britt Henderson. Those two cats are a classic example of how you impact a community, because they do something. Is it Mother's Day with their?
They do. Daughter, I'm sorry, father daughter ball, and then they do a mother son.
You got me to volunteer over in Sanford.
That's what we did. The father, the son, mother.
And I saw those young men come dressed in suits.
Yes,
bringing their moms to this.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were modeling positive male role model. And I mean, so that is a way. They've cracked the code. That's the way to do it. And so, Doc, as we have this conversation, and you mentioned something earlier, Doc, when you say your sister has 14 grandchildren.
Yeah.
Wow.
From how many kids?
From 6 boys.
Oh, well, 14. You can divide. Yeah. I didn't know if Doc was saying 14 from 2. Okay. All right, Doc.
No, so I said out of the 6, though, 2 of them have the grandkids. One has 2 kids.
Yeah. So by the
kids. Man. But she a great grandmama too.
Well, I don't doubt that. But Doc, here's something, and I say this respectfully. So you're saying 14 from 2 to our sons.
Yeah.
Hey man, here's the section where we got to come back to this, because I see Pastor Bowie just dropped back in the green room. And Doc, if you would, I'd like to bring Pastor Bowie online.
Well, good evening, gentlemen. I tell you, I'm Pastor Oliver E. Bowie, one of the organizers of celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March, which was the moment, and also as we move forward, creating Black men, Black women, and families united as we begin a movement here in Los Angeles. And let me tell you, it was outstanding. We had men come not only from Los Angeles, but as far as San Bernardino, California. That's approximately 80 to 100 miles away. We had men from Orange County who came and joined us. And we had women as well, because as we move the movement here across the nation, because this is not just a moment, it's a movement, we also invited the women because it is imperative that the Black man and the Black woman get together and work together and stay together more than ever. And I tell you, I am excited as this movement moves forward. And I say, as we go forward, we already scheduled our next meeting of the movement, which will take place on Monday, October 20th at 6 p.m. And we had them sign up for it. So we are moving ahead here in Los Angeles, and we're excited about Florida because Florida is a key state, and many people have underestimated the power and the influence of Florida. And so we're excited. We want to thank you, Brother Rod Love, for all you do, and keep up the great work as this movement moves throughout the nation.
Hey, Pastor Bowie, and I got to give Pastor Bowie his props. And you know Dr. Nelson. I mean, one of my best friends pulled me to the table and said, "Man, you got to meet Pastor Bowie. You got to." And we were down in Miami at a conference, and I tell you, this guy's electrifying. But in addition to that, Pastor Bowie, how many states participated in today's event virtually?
We had 10 additional states. I'll name most of them. I always miss most of them, but New York City has participated. Charlotte, North Carolina. We had, Norfolk, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Los Angeles, Texas. Let me name South Carolina. And that's off the top of my head, but we had.
Let me say this, Pastor Bowie. You know, you guys are 3 hours ahead of us, right? Behind us.
Behind.
And Pastor Bowie, I'm gonna tell you about his leadership. This brother's been having these meetings where he's getting up at 5 a.m, and Dr. Nelson and myself and guys from all across the country have been getting right up with him. And he's been facilitating this leadership to say, hey guys, we got to get our arms around this. But because we're recognizing the 30-year anniversary, we got to also do a postmortem on it to look at what can we do to improve upon our status. How do we measure it? And Pastor Bowie, you're the right man for this job because you've been bringing everybody together. What would you say? Where were you at, as a matter of fact, during the Million Man March?
Actually, I was working on that day. At that time, I was a deputy sheriff for the county of Los Angeles. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't believe that they would get 1 million men to D.C. And that's part of why I didn't go, because I could have got the time off. But after it actually happened, I was fortunate we had a television and I saw what was going on. I'm going to tell you, my heart hit the floor. I was disappointed that I didn't go, because I even took one of my best friends. I dropped him off to go to the Million Man March. But after seeing what happened, though, it was a move of God, and that's what we've got to understand. And what we're doing is not just a move, it is a God movement, and it's going to succeed because of God. And what I'll say, what happened 30 years ago is similar to those men who got together in the leader. He was the Moses, but he was to lead them to the Jordan River, but he was not to take them into the promised land. But what's happening now as we move from the moment to the movement, we are the Joshua generation that's to take them over the Jordan River and watch God part the Jordan River and go over and run out the Jebusites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, and the Girgashites, and let God do what he does in the name of Jesus. Amen. And we are coming to possess the land.
Hey, so Pastor Bowie, let me B, I'm not gonna hog it up. If you got some questions for him, feel free. But Pastor Bowie, we're looking at the faith community, and everybody got to be involved in this, regardless. But do you see a movement within the faith community to sit back and say, hey, look, that was great what took place 30 years ago, but we got to figure out how do we do something that we can measure our progress and our success going further?
it's essential that we measure our progress. But let me say this, we're going to measure it, but I'm saying to you, one of the things, faith without works is dead. If
Dead,
you
you're right.
do the work, guess what? You'll get results. What has happened? Too many of us as African Americans have relied on people who never saved you, who never had your best interest at heart to come and save you. Let me say this, the oppressor will not be your liberator. And guess what? You've heard this before. Nobody's going to save us but us.
Us,
It
you're
is
right.
our responsibility and our duty to do the work. And guess what? We've got more than qualified people to make it happen. And I'm just glad to be a part of it. And let me say, we can't have no big head. And I'll tell you, just like David said, if I could just be a doorkeeper. See, I don't have to be the leader. Just let me be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord, and I'm happy. Just let me do something. And that's the attitude that we have to have, because in case you don't know, the way you get up is through humility. And as you humble yourself under the mighty hand of God in due season, he'll raise you up, and I'm living proof of that. And so not just a moment, but a movement.
But a movement.
We're going
You're
to
right.
organize, we're going to strategize, and we are going to mobilize. Amen.
What do you think about that? Give me your perspective, Bernard. What you because Pastor, when he talks about he'll be the doorkeeper, we can't have him as a doorkeeper because his leadership too phenomenal.
It's too strong.
But this brother's been lead, man.
Pastor Bowie, I enjoy the excitement that you're giving on it, and it's something that we all should take pride in. Is trying to unite the way that you're trying to get us to. Where do you see it within the next 5 years? The next 2 years?
Let me
How do we get from that step to that second step and that third step up to that platform?
Well, the first step, we must unite. We must come together. If we're not together, that's one of the key ingredients, right? Then after, when we come together, as we come together, and don't think we don't, we put together the right strategy. But the thing is, guess what? Pastor Bowie doesn't have all the answers, but as he begins to organize and bring the people together, now we come together with the strategy. Just like as I'm here with you right now, I didn't know Rod 2 months ago, but now God has given me the opportunity to be here. What happens? But you know what? I stepped out on faith. As we step out on faith and get on the journey, we begin to see things that we never saw. But the challenge is that most people never start the journey. And that's what we have to understand. And not only that, I'm telling you that this, number one, I'm going to give you what this is built upon. I'm going to give you 4 F's, a formula. First is faith. You got to put God first. 2,
Amen.
the family. We got to strengthen and rebuild the Black family. 3, we've got to have finances, economic empowerment, and building legacy wealth. The final F is a future. We never take our eyes off the future, and we're constantly looking to the future as we build a bigger, better, and brighter future, not just for a few of us, but for all
of us.
Absolutely. Hey, Pastor, let me say this before I let you go, because I got to tell you, Pastor Bowie, as we've been having those early morning meetings, he authored the 4 F's. And I was thinking as he was talking about these F's, and Dr. Nelson and the fellas was talking about these 4 F's, I was thinking about all the butt whoopings I got when I bought them F's on when I bought them F's on the report card. And now he want to make F's popular, but you know what? You got 4 F's that are popular, and I'll embrace that any day. And I love my mama Fannie Mae, and I gotta say, I'll bring these 4 F's home with pride any day. And once again, I'm gonna reiterate it, Pastor, because you hit the nail on the head when we were getting up early morning, and you said, "Hey, we got to figure out the foundation." And that foundation, the 4 F's, and I'm gonna go back real quickly. Faith, roots of our integrity. It's unseen force that governs right action. Family and friends, remind us that unity begins at home. Finance determines how we feed opportunity, not just our own, but our communities. And lastly, the future. The future is a living legacy. What we plant today determines what our children harvest tomorrow. Pastor Bowie, hey, I want to thank you and keep up the great work. And you know I'm on your team. Hey, and you got another teammate here too.
I'm here for you, Pastor.
All right. Well, listen, we're all on the team, and let me tell you that we've all got to learn a little French, and it's not me, it's we.
It's we. We. Hey, yo, Pastor Bowie from out of Los Angeles, California. Pastor, thank you. Love you, brother.
Take care.
Love you too. God bless you. And listen, I'm coming to Florida, and listen, we're gonna do something in Florida. All right. Listen,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna come through there like I'm gonna be a spiritual hurricane.
Hey, come on through. Hey, thank you, Pastor. We appreciate you, brother.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's Pastor Bowie out of Los Angeles, California. And when I tell you, the guy knows how to get people moving, man. And I mean, just incredible.
Motivation.
Yeah. And, you know, let me, and Doc, if you come back up on the screen, you know, we were talking about the synergy of brothers coming together. I got to tell you this, man, and this is something that I've realized and enjoyed and over the last 10 years. And I say this is something that I would tell young people is get around, and you don't have to always be around like-minded individuals because iron sharpens iron. But it's the cats that I hang out with that I see how they move.
Yeah.
I see the determination. I see the goals that they have. And I'm going to just say, Bernard, you and I have been running together for a few years tight over the last few years. But also, Doc Polite, you know, Doc will call me at 11 o'clock at night, want to start a conversation on something that's going to take a few hours. And next thing I know, I'm trying to get upstairs at 1 o'clock in the morning. But it's brothers like that. And you know, Dr. Nelson, but I move around a little bit. You know, Dr. Nelson has a brother, and I don't know if all those Nelson guys become Omegas or whatever. I don't know. You know, those Q dogs. But Simon, I mean, these are brothers that I sit back, we fellowship, but they don't realize I'm stealing something from them.
Yeah.
And what I'm stealing is what I see value in from that morality aspect, how they hold their heads up high. You know, there's sometimes, man, I get tired of the BS.
Yeah.
And I had a brother tell me a couple of months ago, because I was saying, man, I'm over all this. And the brother told me, Rod Love, you're not over this. You're just a little tired, as we all get.
Right.
But that's when we got to support each other and say, man, put your head up and keep going.
Keep moving.
But that's why we got to get around folk we can feed off their energy.
Correct.
You know. So Doc, what's your thoughts on that, man?
You know, we were talking about the movement and the Million Man March and what it means, and it's a starting point. Just like anything, you have to have a real starting point. And first of all, you got to have the honest conversation with yourself. I see a lot of people that want to address problems, but they don't want to take the time to look at the causation of the problem. They just want to solve it because they're trying to make the pain go away. But if you don't understand why the pain came, what's feeding the pain, what's sourcing the pain, can it be spread? If you don't fully examine it, understand why, you're never going to solve the problem. Why are we in this predicament? Because as African Americans, we have relied on the goodness of others. We relied on that their humanity will show up for them, because we want to say everybody's good. We are always running to the rescue of other groups, often to the detriment of ourselves.
You're right, but you're right, Doc. But you know, here's the other thing that I realized, and this is talking with Doc oftentimes when he is telling me, you know, stories about his grown children. And I'm gonna tell you, be honest, man. There was a couple of months ago that you were going on a trip with your family. And I get so caught up into the hustle and bustle of work that sometimes we gotta realize. I mean, I got an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old.
Yeah, you gotta make time.
And you gotta make time. And you were in the car with your family. You were traveling somewhere. Y'all were going somewhere, and you don't even realize it impacted me because I don't know if it made that guilt come over me. And I'm sitting back saying, okay, I'm gonna get around my girls and we're gonna go do something.
Yeah.
And them 18 and 22-year-old, at first, you know, them girls, they be like, oh, go ahead, Dad.
Yeah,
we got it. We got it.
Yeah.
But you gotta, man, be around some folk that's gonna give you that awakening at times. But let me ask both of y'all this. You gotta learn to take risks, and you gotta be unafraid
of the
outcome. And you gotta be unafraid of trying something you never did before. Doc, do you know how to swim?
Do I know how to who?
Do you know how to swim?
No.
Okay, so that's
I tell you that's why I didn't become a ranger.
Hey, hold on.
Hey, I went dancing up there and people said, you gotta swim. I was like,
so that's a good one, Doc. So Doc doesn't know how to swim, and that's why he never became a Marine, but you do know how to swim. But here's something that I was taught. You know, I graduated college. My first job was with the state. My second job was with the Urban League. I immediately was thrusted into leadership positions. Left the Urban League as the number 2 person with the Urban League, and then became the district administrator of the 5th largest district in the state of Florida. Then I became an assistant secretary and went on to become the deputy secretary. Hope, hey, we got a caller here. Caller, you're on Let's Talk Nation, and we're talking about the 30th year anniversary. Caller, who are we speaking with?
This is Pastor King.
Oh,
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Mr. Love, for taking the call. I am truly grateful for this opportunity. This is an awesome program. And the Media Man March, I was working, but I had an opportunity to watch it on TV. It inspired me. It helped me to be a better person and have a sincere concern for somebody other than myself. And I say to my brothers all the time, you'll never change the way you act until you change the way you think.
Yeah, you're right.
That is one of the things that helped me with the Million Man March. It helped me to see things from a different perspective, to be concerned about somebody else. And that is why I work so hard to make my community, South Apopka, to be the best that it can be, a better place to live, work, and conduct business. I'm certainly honored to serve as the president of the South Apopka Ministerial Alliance, and we're just working, trying to make a difference.
Hey, Rev, we appreciate your leadership, and you and my co-host Bernard have something in common, and that is Pastor King is the senior pastor at a church in Eustis. And what do you know about Eustis, Bernard?
That's where my parents live in Eustis.
Wow. That is marvelous. What church do they attend?
Well, they actually started a church over at one time. Geez, I can't remember exactly when, but it was off of Bates.
Yeah, they're real close. They're real close. Maybe I need to try to do some research and find out where they at.
My parents, they live.
Good place for St. James every church.
Look at that plug.
It used to be the old. It was a funeral home at one time.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hey, Rev, let me say this, man. Appreciate your leadership, and I'm gonna say I'm somewhat biased because Rev happens to be my father-in-law too. And so, man, you know, Rev, ever since I've met him, man, has done nothing but lead. And, you know, leading ain't easy.
Right.
Because, you know, it used to be a time when people disagreed. They could disagree and be civil and see each other the next day or the next week and be fine. But Rev, let me tell you, you and I know your running partner, Pastor Hezekiah Bradford, and the members of that ministerial alliance, y'all are doing great work, man. I mean, scholarships, community engagement. Man, let me just say, continue the great work that you're doing because it does make a difference and it does matter.
Ron, just give me one long minute. I want to just highlight one of the things that we do. We give our scholarships to deserving students, and those that want to continue their education. And one of the good things about it, we stay in contact with them, and many of them have come back to help us to organize the MLK parade every year. Young people, wanting to give back because they appreciate the kindness and the generosity that the organization has shown them. And so we call them back. We allow them to be a part of scholarship service, and we allow them to be a part of the planning of the MLK parade. And I just want to say, I thank God for you, Rod Love, who one time was Commissioner Love, who was willing and saw some stuff where everybody was getting and we were not getting, and he said, okay, well, everybody else getting it, let's stop the hypocrisy. Let them still line and get some finances so that it'll help them to grow and to be better. So I thank you so very much for all you do. And here's one thing that comes from the movie, man, Mark. This segment that you're doing, that came.
You're right.
March.
Absolutely right, Rev. You're absolutely correct, man. And you know, one of the things that, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it, but one of the things that I got from Rev a long time ago is something real simple. And it's called just make it make sense. Make what you're doing make sense. And so, Rev, you've done that, man, time and time over. And once again, man, just keep up the great work you're doing, and I appreciate you.
I think I remember hearing that in church.
You remember hearing that? Oh, that's right. You've been to Rev Church.
I remember hearing it in church.
Hey, see, hey, that preacher's still holding on to you, B. Well, Rev, man, we appreciate you. Yeah.
Listen, and this is one comment I read. It's better to be a boy than men. All right. Thank you, sir.
Man, thank you. Boy, Rev is on point. Rev is on point, man. I tell you, we appreciate him. Hey, but Bernard, here's something that, Doc, I want you to be that crutch for Bernard. I was going to a point in place where I was asking, did either one of you know how to swim? Doc, you say you don't know how to swim because that's why you didn't become a Marine. You say you do know how to swim. One of the things that we got to help each other with is the courage to try stuff that we haven't done before. With that being the case, Doc, if you would lead Bernard, because I'm going to make him swim, it's called being pushed in the deep end of the pool. Ask him about what the Wolfpack does to serve communities. And here's why I'm going to push you in the deep end of the pool, and you're going to get the message real quick. Doc, he's never done what he's about to do right now. So, Doc, you got it, B.
So, first of all, what is the Wolfpack?
What is the Wolfpack? Wolfpack is a group of guys that's very positive. We like to do things to make an impression in our city. We started out as just a few guys, I think maybe about 7 or 8 from Sanford, Florida, just smoking cigars and getting together, having a good time. From there,
introduce your co-host.
We ended up starting doing things as far as wanted to do something for underprivileged kids. Instead of backpacks, we did the t-shirts, the underwear, socks, the essentials. And then during the Christmas time, we actually do things for kids that couldn't afford anything as well.
Okay. You know, Rod threw you in the hot seat, right?
Yes, he did.
So now, how long have you guys been doing this?
It's been about 7 years now.
Okay, and what's your biggest challenge? What is your biggest challenge as a group?
I'm going to introduce Robert here. This is Robert Singletary. He's one of our members. I'm going to let him answer that question. Our biggest challenge.
Our biggest challenge is to get the communities, our fellow brothers and sisters behind us to support these activities that we do. Understand that the if we have a back to school drive, we don't need paper and pencils only. We need clothing, we need shoes. Hell, we may even need a Uber voucher or something, so we can get these kids to better and higher education. So one of the challenges that we face when we have gatherings, events, we want people to understand that they're showing up, showing out to assist us in helping others. We're not having a backyard boogie just to have a barbecue. We're raising money to support these activities that we do for the community.
So the biggest issue really is the participation.
Okay.
On a bigger and a broader stage.
So let me ask you this: how do you measure your success? What shows that your organization is successful?
Honestly, it's successful when we're able to get stuff for more than 50 kids. For me, now yes, it can be better, but just get enough for the kids at the local Boys and Girls Club that we take care of. That's been a great part of it. I asked the guys to give me suits. We get suits for young men that they can't buy suits for themselves for an interview or for graduation or anything that they need a nice suit for. We drop off at Bethune-Cookman or at the local high school. So our biggest thing, I get a joy out of it.
Okay.
I get a joy out of it. So I enjoy looking out for young men to make them on a positive way.
Okay, but what do you think needs to really take place to change our community? What really needs to happen? Because I'm going to qualify this before I say this. I am not knocking your efforts.
Right.
But here, okay, I'm 65. I have been around and in this space as a counselor, as a mentor, as a father, as a teacher, as a professor. Okay?
Right.
Understand, I have seen this from the 70s to the 2020s. And what I see is a consistent repetition of the same efforts with the same people. And my consensus is that while that works, it works at a very minimal level.
Correct.
And we've got to start thinking outside that avenue. I'm not knocking that. Kids need book bags. Yes, some of them do. But it's become passe to do that in our community. Everybody's giving out book bags.
Right. That's one thing what we stopped.
And then everybody wanted to do the etiquette classes and all of that. And those are applaudable efforts. But we're not in the space where a suit at an interview is even necessary in this workspace now. At 20 years old, if you go into a corporate job, yes, but to get a blue collar job or a local job, what they need to know is how to have their resume reflect what the skill level is, how to sell themselves, self-efficacy, and to make themselves a product.
So
we need more of that.
So Doc can get cranial. Doc knows this stuff like the back of his hand.
Oh yeah.
And so Doc knows that stuff. But the other thing about Doc, and that's my boy, that's my friend, 5 minutes till the show is over, Doc will break it down to you, and y'all will start realizing Doc is more cranial than you could ever imagine, because Doc will recite this stuff to you forward and backwards. But here's the part.
Let me say this. I want to leave y'all with this, and I'm going to dip off because I've been waiting to say this. What would happen, Rod Love? I don't know if y'all met Rod Love's daughter, Reagan and Rihanna. They are two of the most amazing young women. I always have to laugh with them and smile when I get a chance to talk to them because I see my girls. My girls are now 37 and 41. But I remember when Jamina and Talia were that age and the pride that I took in being their father. And I see that in my friend. But one thing I will say, what would happen if every man raised their daughter to be Rod Love girls? I want you to think about it.
They'll be mad at their daddy all the time.
No. The black community would change overnight.
I agree.
I appreciate the compliment.
The most powerful thing we can do as fathers is make our girls understand their value and worth. I always tell Rod, you don't have to worry about them girls marrying a bum. They had you as a daddy. They know what a man looks like, behaves like, and what his purpose is. It would be foolish for them to have lived with that all their life and accept anything less than.
I appreciate what Doc is saying. I appreciate what Doc is saying because Doc has to give me therapy with them two jokers all the time. But hey, fellas, here's the part of the show that I want to break down very quickly. We're talking about the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March. But more importantly, what I want to say is there's been a big gap and we can't get our arms around what has happened. The Wolfpack has been doing some incredible work. We have 2 minutes to go. Colonel, I appreciate you and the Wolfpack that's out in the lobby area, always showing up and showing out. We got Thanksgiving coming up. What's the Wolfpack going to be doing for that local community? And I will say to you now, I will pledge Attorney Greg Jackson and I will support that. But are y'all doing anything for the community for Thanksgiving?
Not for Thanksgiving. We're going to be focused on actually for the Christmas.
Okay.
Since it's so close. With so many different organizations giving away turkeys and doing meals, we kind of want to step back from that for Thanksgiving.
So how will people contact y'all if they want to get engaged to support y'all for whatever y'all do with Christmas?
Well, normally B12 puts out a flyer.
We normally create something.
We create something so that everybody will know, hey, so this is what we're
Is it a
going to
Facebook page or anything that anybody can go to?
We will have an IG, which definitely will be Wolfpack in Sanford.
Okay.
It's the IG. There is a Facebook page too, which I also believe is called Wolfpack of Sanford.
And get that flyer to me, and we'll put it up on the Let's Talk Nation Facebook page. But what I want to say to you two brothers and the entire Wolfpack, appreciate you sponsoring this whole conversation. But also, more importantly than that, I appreciate the work and the efforts that you put in the community. The only thing that I would say to my good friends sitting here, and Bernard, you and I already had this conversation, y'all do so much good work. You need to measure the good work that you do and start taking a tally of how many kids you're serving each and every year. So when you go to the local McDonald's or to the neighbor and say, hey, we've served 2,000 kids in this community. We've helped Dress for Success 1,000 kids in this community. We've given backpacks, but we've gotten pledges from those parents and those children that we will excel in education. When you guys start doing that, the world is going to open up even bigger for you. So once again, I want to thank both of y'all. And shoot, I'm not going to be the one leaving party words. Start with you first, Colonel, then we'll end with B12.
So
look at that red light. Let's do it like they do on Stephen A.
Only ride. So everyone that's in the sound of my voice, that's a true believer. First of all, let's start off by giving honor, praise to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to even have this moment in space to be able to talk about the things that we're talking about now. If we're all in agreement, say amen.
Amen.
So I'm going to leave you with this. We took 1 million black men of all races, creeds, and colors, to march on Washington to set a precedent that we are here. So let's not let that go to waste. Let us continue to build upon that so that we can continue to let the world know that we are on the same stage that they are. James Brown said it best. You don't have to give me anything. Open the door. I'll go in and get it myself. So let's make sure we keep those doors open so that all of us can thrive, all of us can survive, and all of us can live to be better human beings, better service to ourselves, our families, and the rest of the world. So let's keep God first, and let's keep moving forward.
Well said. Well, I didn't know Colonel was, hey, preacher and deep too. Well said. B.
I'm going to say something real quick. We know Mr. Love over here did say, don't say the word I or you played in 100. But I'm going to say the word I.
You're going to play your 100?
Because I need for you to figure out what have you done to make a difference. Because you have to make a difference. You got to be accountable. If you're not accountable, how are you going to help us?
Very well said.
So again, we're going to have something I forgot to mention. First week of December, that Tuesday, we're going to have ugly sweater party.
Yeah.
At Angels.
Okay.
Best sweater gets a gift, but that's going to be a way that we're going.
So that's the ugly sweater.
Ugly sweater
Okay.
party.
Okay.
That's going to be a way for us to generate, presents and stuff for the kids.
Okay.
Donations, so we can go out and buy the kids something for the holidays.
Look forward to getting that flyer.
Indeed, sir.
Hey, want to thank you two gentlemen once again, and hey, y'all, keep up the great work that you're doing. It's much appreciated, and it is changing lives.
Thank you for the invite.
Hey, for those of you who tuned in tonight, this was about talking about the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March, but putting meat on the bones and figuring out where we go from here. Hey, tune in every Monday from 7 to 8 on Let's Talk Nation with attorney Greg Jackson and Rod Love. Brothers, once again, thank you. We'll see you next week, y'all.
Have a good night. So.